Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Season 8, Episode 28, overall 413th episode of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, or give them a call at 519-824-0210. Tell them Chris Palme sent you. Or you can email the dealership at info@barrycullen.com. Live with CDP Sports Talk, as always, is on weeknights from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern on radio station WQEE 99.1 FM in Noonan, Georgia, the home of Southern Talk and Sports. I hope everyone's doing well on this Friday, July 12th, 2024. It's been hot and humid here this week in Southern Ontario, a lot of rain, and I'm looking forward to our show tonight. My guest I'm going to bring on in about a minute or two. This will be her second appearance. Her name is Belle-Lyssa Crawford. She is a board member with the U.S. Veterans Hall of Fame. So we're going to talk about U.S. veterans tonight and their Hall of Fame and some of their upcoming events as well. And I'm excited to have my guest on, Belle-Lyssa, and we're going to bring her on right now. Good afternoon or good evening. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, Chris. Thank you so much for having me on again. It was such a treat the last time, and I really have enjoyed our friendship continuing since the last episode. And I'm just really happy to be here and happy to connect with your audience and share what I can about the U.S. Veterans Hall of Fame.
How are you doing it, and how's the weather down in North Carolina right now?
Hot and humid. I feel like maybe we're in Louisiana because it's pouring out. We've had a bit of rain. It's pretty hot, but it's lush and green and beautiful, and I'm 10 minutes from the beach. I honestly really can't complain.
10 minutes from the beach. Wow, that must be nice.
Yeah.
Definitely. But hey, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on, and looking forward to talking to you about the U.S. Veterans Hall of Fame and what it's about and some of their upcoming events as well.
Great. Thank you.
All right. We'll get into some questions. Can you tell my audience how you got involved with the U.S. Veterans Hall of Fame as a board member?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I want to share, if some of you have watched Chris's previous interview with me, I've been a mental fitness coach for over 20 years, very passionate about helping people overcome anxiety and depression and teaching them how to think in a different way, to have more inner peace and a calm mind, be able to be creative. And where that passion came from was that I struggled with anxiety and depression and even suicidal ideation. And so I share that brief little history about myself. And I've been a solopreneur for over 20 years. And sometimes it's been a bit of a lonely road, although filled with lots of gratitude and lots of amazing opportunities to help people. And in this last year, I felt like I wanted to connect with a team of people. I didn't know who that was going to be. I just felt like there was more that I could do, and I needed help. So every night before I went to bed for about 8 months, I just kept saying, I want to attract the most amazing opportunity, and I will take action on the one that's highest and best. It was pretty simple, but I also had underlying that was that I wanted to connect with like-minded people doing work to help people heal from anxiety and depression. There were days that I would look outside my window and not be able to participate in the day. And a lot of people that I've worked with have talked about that feeling and swimming in a sea of 1,000 thoughts and just struggling with PTSD and really having difficulty just being and let alone taking action on their goals. So all of a sudden, I'm doing some reels on Facebook and really putting it out there, but not really getting any clients, conversion. Like, what am I doing? And I had clients, but they were coming to me from other ways. And then this amazing gentleman reached out to me. I'm not sure if he sent me a friend request or I sent him a friend request. And his name was Dennis Green. And he's a veteran, decorated, retired, in the financial industry now. And we connected. I sent him a quick message. Hey, it's great to connect with you. And he said, hey, do you want to jump on a call and, just meet each other? I said, sure. And we started talking. This was last October, I believe. And he told me that he was in the military and he just really didn't want to retire, was very passionate about finances, and asked me if I knew of anyone. And I said, of course, I'd keep you in mind. And then he said, well, tell me about what you do. And I started telling him. I told him my story. I also told him that I had a biological brother that was a first responder, a police officer. Although he did not serve in the military, he committed suicide by gunshot. So I'm really passionate, and that was over 16 years ago, about helping people. And he said, the world doesn't need more people like me. The world needs more people like you. And we both cried. I'm tearing up just thinking about that conversation because I'm so grateful to where it's led me. And he told me about his position on the U.S. Veterans Hall of Fame and how he got connected to this group of individuals that founded this in 2018 and how they were helping to prevent suicide around the country and helping vets find homes in the homelessness crisis and giving them the necessities and the resources and to be able to connect them with mental health. And we talked for a few more months, and he mentioned me to the board, and I offered to do a train the trainer program for mental fitness for the U.S. Veterans Hall of Fame and maybe other veteran service organizations. And then he decided to discuss an opportunity with me, with the other board members, and offered me a position on the Veterans Hall of Fame. I had no idea what that meant at the time. And I had never served on a board before, but their mission resonated with me so much. The founder, who's in Charlotte, Curtis Drafton, who's also a decorated retired vet, he and other board members in Charlotte would go around and find homeless veterans and put them up. They showed their ID card, and he'd put them up in a hotel for up to 30 days, provide them meals, and meet with them 3 days later and talk with them about, hey, what's going on? What do you need? How can we get you back on your feet? How can we get you back into life and back into a home and shelter? That moved me so much. They're on the ground. They're connecting. They're doing these things. They're having barbecues in the park and picnics to reach out to veterans. And I well know how important it is to connect with people one-on-one. I know that that is important. I know that why I became a coach was because you can go to all the seminars on personal development you want. You can read all the books. I never went down the medication route. However, I know some people do. I'm not faulting that, but sometimes that doesn't work. It's not enough. I know that it's the one-on-one. I know that it's the outreach. I know that it's listening to someone's story and meeting them where they're at and understanding where their pain is coming from, what's holding them back from life, and what's going on in their mind, and how I can help them rewrite their story, create a new chapter, give them hope. Because if you've lost hope, you're lost. And I was so excited about what they were doing. And it's a nationwide effort. They are currently virtually housed, although there are lots of things in the works to actually have a physical building in more than one just part of the country. It's so exciting. We're actually looking at partnering with other veteran service organizations. This is something that we talked about, and I am kind of leading this initiative to create an alliance with other veteran service organizations so that we can reach veterans. So because people don't know this, forgive me for not having the exact statistics. I know this one is correct. There's 46,000 veteran service organizations in the country. I'll say it again. 46,000 veteran service organizations in the country. Not just wounded warriors, not just disabled American veterans, not just wounded, I said that already, not just the things that people think. And there are organizations that do amazing things. And imagine what it would be like for a veteran to not only know about those things, but to have someone to help them access those things. Because I think part of the problem when somebody's already dealing with anxiety, depression, PTSD, and maybe they just came out of the service, maybe they've been injured, whatever has happened, they've had their family with the military and then they leave it. And they have had a regimen of giving up control of their lives, basically, to help protect our country. And then they have to go figure their life out and figure their families out and figure out how to put food on the table and maybe figure out a new career and all of those things and housing and then the car breaks down or then this happens and then that happens and they're just overwhelmed and then they have to fill a form out and then they have to fill it out again and then they have to stand in line and then they have to wait and their brain's about ready to explode. So the vision is to create this umbrella partnership alliance with other veteran service organizations to help bring it home, to help bring access, because maybe a veteran needs more wraparound. Maybe it's not just one, maybe it's not just two, and also feel like they need maybe having their hand held, having someone along their side to check in on them, to say, how's it going? Because I don't know about you, but at times when I've been at my lowest, and I'll be honest, a long time ago, there were times that a shower did not take place. There were times that I didn't answer the door. I didn't pick up the phone. And it was all I could do to walk my dog. It was just all I could do to say, I'm going to get through this day. And I cannot imagine what it's like to have served our country and to have witnessed things that they may never even be able to speak of, even amongst their brothers and sisters, because it's so traumatic, or maybe they're not allowed to speak of those things. And then to have to deal with life. And then we have the pandemic. And the suicide rate for veterans is just astronomically higher than it is for civilians. And sometimes, and many times, they tried to reach out, but they just didn't make it for that second reach out. They didn't connect again, or it was difficult. And finances were a big part of it. And so sometimes they're just a utility bill, a car payment, under $1,000 a mortgage payment away. And the pressure, along with everything else they have to keep together, is just so much that through what the U.S. Veterans Service Organization is trying to do is to help provide the financial resources, to help provide the gap when they get out of the service and they have all of these things happen so that they can deal with their mental health. Because if you don't have your mental health, you don't have anything. And if you don't have any hope for tomorrow, you don't have anything. And to be able to have these resources available ahead of time so that they're there. Because it's one thing to say help is on the way. It's another thing to say it's here right now.
I've got a comment from the Vinyl Villains. That which you crave or dear to you can only be saved by voting blue. I don't want to get into politics or who people are supporting. What I wanted to ask you about, Lyssa, is regardless of who your political background is or who you're voting for, I want to keep that out of this. But do you feel the U.S. government now and in the past has not done enough or has not done enough for veterans? And that's the same within Canada too. You put your life on the line and serve your country. The country should be looking after all the veterans, whether you're in Canada or you're in the States or whatever country in the world you are. Veterans have been very important. We would not have our freedom today without these men and women that fought in these wars.
Thank you, Chris. And that is an excellent question. And thank you for bringing me back to a point that I was going to make, and I got sidetracked when I said there are 46,000 veteran service organizations, and the funding, and forgive me for this amount, but I know it's up there in the millions. I think it's like $376 million. Goes to only three. The government. Only three. Three veteran service organizations are getting the bulk of that money. It's not going to the 46,000. And I have to say that this veteran service organization, the U.S. Veterans Hall of Fame, 95% of their proceeds go towards the veterans. To answer your question, no. There's not enough money trickling down. I don't want to use the word corruption.
But it needs to change. It needs to change.
Something needs to change. And, you know, I want to make an analogy because this is one of the reasons why I'm so grateful for you allowing me to be on this show. I'm grateful that we'll have the recording to share because way back when women were getting, and I promise I'll tie this in, women were getting breast cancer, but it wasn't something that women were talking about. And then the pink ribbon came along and there was this awareness, you know, pink, the pink ribbon. And now when you see pink, it's a shade of pink, and you see that ribbon, you think breast cancer. And so it makes it okay to talk about it. And that's what I want to do. Because no, we're not talking about it enough. People are not doing it enough. They're doing too much talking, too much red tape, too much the C word that I don't want to use again, because I want to keep it positive. There's a problem. And there's a problem with access. There's a problem with affordability. There's a problem with awareness. Our veterans serve our country. They should not have to wait 2 or 3 weeks or 2 months to get an appointment with a mental health professional. So we are changing that.
And also homelessness with them is increasing. Like you mentioned before, suicide. But Lyssa, I wanted you to explain to my audience, for some of them that are watching or listening, what PTSD is. Obviously, it's big. It happens a lot with first responders, but it's very common with people that serve in the military as well. So if you could explain that to our audience.
That's another excellent question. And PTSD is not just for people who served. It's not just for first responders. And it stands for post-traumatic stress syndrome. And I could give you the exact definition. And basically, in a nutshell, it's when someone experiences a traumatic event that is so traumatic on the psyche that when they have something that reminds them of it, it could be a firework, it could be a boom, it could be somebody tapping them on the shoulder. It could be an image. It could be a nightmare. They're thinking about it. They relive that over and over again, and they're not able to break free of that. And they have it for a sustained period of time. It's not just a one-time event. And they never know when it's going to hit. And so, unfortunately, a lot of our men and women of service struggle with sleeplessness. They struggle even with addiction. They struggle with all kinds of things that make it so difficult because they are trying to find a way to cope. They're trying to find a way to be free of the trauma that they keep reliving it. Can you imagine seeing something horrible? And I have had that happen. Something happened with my mom, and it was very, very, very traumatic. And the surgeon came out after a very serious series of 22 different procedures and a 14-hour surgery. She had cancer, very different. But she was brutalized, in that surgery. And he said, when you see your mom, it's going to be like she stepped on a landmine. You're not going to recognize her. And I had to get some therapy to be able to see my mom again, although she passed away 5 years ago, a little over, almost 5 years ago.
I am so sorry.
Thank you. But I can still see that. And it's normal for people to pass away. It's normal for people to go through, seeing their loved ones in an accident and recover and things like that. What I can relate to is not being able to get that image out of my mind. And I cannot imagine what it's like to literally have witnessed somebody being blown up, to literally have witnessed or shot someone or any of those things that I can't even imagine. To not be able to free your mind up, because I specialize in neuroplasticity. I specialize in teaching people how to rewire their brains to think about what they want, not what they don't want. And when you are thinking about a trauma, a negative event or something, you're wiring in, you're etching in that negative event. And sometimes you can't control it. Your subconscious mind does not know the difference between what's real or imagined, and it never takes a break. Our subconscious minds are constantly recording everything that we're doing, everything that we're saying, good, bad, or indifferent, everything that we're saying. And so it requires an extra level of specialty. And you know what? In the military, they don't talk about it. It used to be that if you talk about, and this is not fixed by any means, but if you talk about your problems, you might be mentally unstable.
That it's called, the word I'm looking is tabooed. It's just like back in the 70s and 80s. If you told somebody you were going to a psychiatrist or a therapist, they would automatically label you as crazy.
And the opposite is true. The opposite, if you don't get help, if you don't talk about it, you're going to implode and explode. And so that's a big problem in the military. And there's not enough access. And I'm just talking about the mental piece, but then there's also, people who've been wounded, disabled American veterans having difficulty getting services and resources. There's all kinds of programs out there. The money's there. The money is there. That's why we're going to the private sector, though, because the money is hard to access. It's not being filtered down in the ways that we're really able to help the veterans.
Belle-Lyssa, I was going to ask you, is it okay if we play that one clip
Absolutely.
from the YouTube?
Great time for that. Yes.
Yeah,
please.
I thought it was the time to do that. And it's from Curtis Drafton. Yeah.
He's our founder. Great.
Just let me know if you can hear the audio okay.
So I'm just leaving the post office here. Right in back, we got 2 homeless veterans that stay here every night. This is on W.T. Harris in the plaza here in Charlotte. Let's bring them home. Let's do the work to bring them home. This is what we do every day. We drive around and we hear the stories and we find the vets. And when we can, we feed them. And other times we like to get them apartments or whatnot. And there's a couple over here. You can't really see them because of the bushes, and I don't really want to front them out. But what they do is they stand out here on these streets and they just ask for money, nicely. They have signs, but then also we ask them if they have veteran ID cards. And if they have a VIC, we make sure that we bring them home, whether or not that's for a meal, for a shelter, what have you. But again, here in this great country, we are a great country. And I tread lightly with ever saying we're the best country in the world. No, it shouldn't be a competition. You show you're the best. You don't have to proclaim it. Kings don't walk into rooms and say, I'm the king. The room says that with respect. So again, right here behind a government facility, we've got veterans sleeping on the ground every night. Unacceptable. Let's fix it. Come on. Join us. We got missions. Sign up. Send me an email. All right. Chaplain drafting out.
Thoughts on this video by Curtis?
It's very emotional for me, because I know him personally. I know his heart and all the board members. And that is the heart that is leading this. It is not being led by politicians. It is being led by brothers and sisters that have walked the walk, and they're walking the walk to walk them home and making a difference. They have made a difference. They've been around since 2018. We've got some amazing fundraisers coming up because everything is done by donations. So that's why it's so important to create awareness. Like I had mentioned, the Susan Komen Foundation and, the Pink Ribbon. There's awareness now. I feel like we owe it to our veterans to bring awareness that this is a crucial, critical problem. And we can fix this. Together we can fix this.
Absolutely, and there's no excuse for that because, like I said, without the veterans, the men, the women who risked their lives for our freedom, there would be no society like it is today. And to me, this is a no-brainer. And I really appreciate you coming on here tonight, Belle-Lyssa, to speak about this. And to, even though I'm based in Canada, eventually I'm going to do a show on Canadian veterans as well because these people put their lives on the line for us and our freedom, and they shouldn't be just discarded and forgotten about.
That's right. Is it okay if I mention our upcoming induction ceremony that's in Hampton, Virginia?
Absolutely. That was gonna be one of my later questions, but let's go.
You know what?
No, let's go. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
So I'm very excited about it because I'm going to actually meet a lot of the people that I've met only virtually in person. But it is our biggest fundraiser, and it is coming up in Hampton, Virginia. It's our 2024 annual U.S. Veterans Hall of Fame Gala, and it is the induction ceremony where there will be veterans that have been voted in through an application process, and they have been voted in to be inducted into the U.S. Veterans Hall of Fame. And it's an opportunity to bring awareness. Very, very, very excited that it's going to be in Hampton, Virginia on November 16th. And the city of Hampton has partnered with us and is in support of this.
That's awesome.
And anyone can go to this event. And News Nation, that has a 15 million household reach, is going to be giving coverage for that. We're not exactly sure of the details yet. This is huge. And we're getting some amazing VIP people in there. And it's an opportunity to honor the veterans. There's also going to be a silent auction, and there's going to be resource tables available for veterans to get help on the spot. It is one of our biggest fundraisers. And so people can go to the website and see how they can donate. And you don't have to attend. You can just donate, and then other veterans can attend.
Okay.
And so, and we want you to know that everything is, of course, tax deductible. That is one of our biggest events. Super, super excited, grateful about that. I'm also super, super excited about this next one I'm going to tell you about.
Before you get to that event, if you're okay with this, can I just name these people that are going to be in the Veterans Hall of Fame class of 2024?
Yes,
there's I believe there's 8 members. General Benjamin O. Davis Jr., MG Charles F. Bowden Jr., BG Anna Mae Hayes, BG Albert K. B. Lyman, LTC Charity E. Adams, LTC Amy McGrath, Major, or I guess MAJ stands for Major Evan R. Simone, and the last one is Corporal Robert C. Andrew.
Fantastic. Thank you.
I just think that's great that they do this. And for people that are watching our show right now on live stream or audio, what's the website again and the best place where you can get tickets from? Is it online? Is the best place to get the tickets?
Absolutely. Online, www.usvetshallofFame.org. And all the information is there for this gala event. As a matter of fact, it pops up there and it'll give you an opportunity where you can buy a seat and you don't have to attend. It's $99 to purchase a seat, or you can buy a half of a table, which is $500. It's all tax donations, tax deductible, and you could buy an entire table, and the table seats 9, and that's $1,000, and the 10th seat is for a fallen veteran. So a veteran that is no longer with us has given his or her life up for service. And you don't have to attend. Corporate sponsorships are available along with advertising space in our program. It's a really great way to get your name out there, to get your business out there and support the veterans. And remember, 95% of the proceeds go towards the veterans. That's amazing.
Is there a contact person on the website if somebody wants to reach out and contact an individual directly with that as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. And if anyone has any questions and they want to contact me directly, I can certainly get them in touch with someone. 1,000%. Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. And again, it's at the Hampton Roads Convention Center, 1610 Coliseum Drive, Hampton, Virginia. And how far is that from where you are in North Carolina? I assume you're going to be there for that event?
Yes, I believe it's 261 miles.
That's not too bad.
Not too bad. Yeah. And there's another event coming up as well that I think I'm going to go to as well.
Tell us about it.
So this one I'm really excited about, and I'm not even a sports person, but I'm excited about because I know you are, and I know many of your listeners may be as well. So this is our first annual celebrity golf tournament, and it is in Virginia Beach, and it is October 28th, and it is sponsored by NFL players and coaches. And that thing was put together like boom. I mean, they just jumped on it. It was just, wow. It happened so quickly, and I'm super excited about that. Our goal for that event is to raise $100,000, and you can see that on the website. There's an opportunity. You'll just see golf event. And why I'm super excited about it, because it's not going to just be, it's our first annual, but we plan on doing them all over the country. So throughout the year. So that's really, really exciting. Very, very excited about that opportunity. Excited about what the U.S. Veterans Service Organization is doing together. And it's just I'm just so blessed to see the work that they're doing for that. And they also are going to be having other benefits available for veterans, like quicker access to mental health services, quicker access to help them with resources for prescriptions, and all kinds of things that are coming too. And people can see that on the website as well. And they can also see all of the other work that they have done over the years as well.
This golf event is Monday, October 28th, 2024. I was reading up, the goal is to raise $100,000. And to get all that information, I guess would be the same website, usvetshallofFame.org.
It's all there. Absolutely. And if anyone has any other questions, they can reach out to me as well.
And are you going to be maybe attending that event as well? Are you a golfer?
I think so. I'm definitely, I get the highest score at miniature golf. I'm going to be honest. However, I think I'm going to go and be supportive, because I think it's a great opportunity and a great event. And I think there's going to be a lot of people there, and to get the word out, because I feel like that's really, the more people that know, the more people that can help, because this organization and the veterans are counting on you And if we have the funds available, since the government is not, the access to that isn't there the way that it needs to be, the way that it should be. And so we're getting that from private funding, corporate sponsors. So if anybody knows anybody out there that thinks that their organization that they work for, or they have a company, or maybe they are the company and they want to reach out to us, we can set up a one-on-one meeting with someone on our board. I'm sure that Curtis Drafton would be willing to do that. You know, if someone had someone like that wanted to do that, we certainly need all the help. And the veterans, you know, rely on this, and it saves lives. If I could share a quick, do I have time to share a real quick personal?
Yep, go ahead.
One of the reasons why I jumped at this opportunity, besides the backstory that I told you, that I was really wanting to be a part of something bigger, I've been a coach for a long, long time, and every once in a while, I'll get someone that's really in crisis. And someone reached out to me, and it was just on text message, someone that I knew that had served more than one time and had gone upon hard times and was feeling suicidal, would not pick up the phone. And I knew that he had attempted suicide 5 times, I think, at that point. And I was by myself. It was during the pandemic. I called the Veterans Suicide Hotline myself because I could just text. And I got some support. I told them, look, I'm a mental health professional. This is what I do. This is a little out of my scope because this is over the phone on text. He told me what to do. And this person trusted me. He had a gun. It was loaded. And I just happened to reach out. He did not reach out to me. I reached out, asked how you're doing. And he reached back and said, not so good. And eventually told me, wee hours of the morning. It was a time difference, so it was later for me anyway. And not only did he have a gun loaded and had previous attempts, he also had pills, enough, so he didn't have to feel the pain. He hadn't taken them yet. And the amazing person on the other end of the phone at the Veterans Suicide Hotline said, see if you can get him to take the bullets out of the gun and put him in another room. So I asked him, and he did. And then the person on the hotline said, get him to put the pills in a plastic bag and put them in some water in a container and put them in the freezer. Never would have thought of that. And he did it. And then we talked. And we talked through texting. People think of talking as texting now. He's still here today. That was 4 years ago.
Thank God. You helped save his life.
And I share that story because sometimes it just takes that reaching out. It just takes that reaching out, that one-on-one, and that's what we want to do. We want to give veterans an opportunity that they have someone that they can reach out to, not just a number to call, but actually somebody that can go for a walk with them in the park, sit down and have coffee, have a conversation, check up on them.
Show that you care. Show
Right.
that you care. You're legitimately, you're concerned about them, and listening is just as important as talking. And sometimes they just need somebody to listen to them and open up.
Yes, and get out of their head, because sometimes the worst place to be is in your head. And also, how many times I did some videos on this that I shared on some social media platforms about people often lie when you ask them how they are. I've done it.
I tend to agree.
And how do you explain what you're going through when you've served our country and you're dealing with PTSD and you're dealing with all these stressors and you're trying to be really strong. You're told to suck it up and just deal with it. And our psyches are not designed that way. Life is not that way. And then you add the pandemic on top of it, and we're still dealing with the repercussions of that. And so having somebody reach out, because oftentimes when somebody's in a crisis like that, my brother didn't, and he went into a parking lot and shot himself in the police parking lot.
I am so sorry.
And nobody ever knew anything. He never shared what he was going through.
He kept silent, just like Robin Williams. And they say a lot of people who commit suicide generally don't say nothing. They act like they're happy, but inside they're.
And that's why this awareness, that's why what we're doing is critical. We can make a difference. We've got the plan, we've got the mission, we've got the people, and there's money there. We just need to get the word out, and we need your help. We need other people's help, and so that we can have these resources available for people. And a lot of times it's financial too, and there's a lot of pride involved. I don't know about you, but when I've needed help, it's hard to ask. It's hard to tell anybody what you're going through.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
And so I share that story because you just never know what someone's going through. And we can make a difference. We can save lives. They are saving lives. Look at what they're doing already. It was founded in 2018, and it's going strong, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and News Nation. And I wanted to mention that there are going to be some VIPs at the gala in November on the 16th. And one of them is, forgive me, I am going to find it. I had it here. Yes, Attorney Benjamin Crump. So there are some people there that we're getting national recognition. We are getting noticed. And thank you for giving us the opportunity and the platform to make people aware of this amazing organization and all of the veteran service organizations. They all have these beautiful hearts. We're trying to make the world a better place because they allow us. It's because of our veterans that we can sit here talking. It's because of our veterans that you and I can go to bed tonight peacefully, and we can wake up tomorrow morning. And it doesn't matter who you voted for. It doesn't matter.
Just look after our vets. Look after our vets.
Right.
Wherever you are in the world, look after your vets.
That's right. They're our brothers and sisters, and we're all connected, and we can make a difference. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for what they did for us.
Belle-Lyssa, I do some sports media work for professional sports teams,
Yes.
and all these teams that I do, they have a military awareness night. Like they honor people, the vets there, and the fans always stand up. Everyone stands up and applauds them, and I think that's positive, but we need more of that and more programs and more money to help these veterans, whether they're in Canada or in the States or anywhere in the world. You put your life on the line for a country, your country should take care of those people that do that.
Yes. And there's some flaws, there's some things that are broken, and we are not about complaining. We are not about pointing fingers. We are about identifying, here's the problem. We got the solution. We're on it. We're doing it. So, if any of you out here feel compelled and want to know more, please visit our website and ask questions, reach out, donate. Remember, it's all tax deductible, and know that people are on the ground. They're making a difference. I had a veteran reach out to me through social media and tell me that a year ago he had left the service, and then a year ago he lost his family going through marital issues, had a gun cocked at the kitchen table. I had to talk to that vet, and I did. And I had to hear a story of how he made it through. And I think about him every day, and I pray for him every day, and all the other veterans, the men and women, and the people that don't share their story, people that are sitting in silence. There's so many people out there that are aware, but they don't know how to reach out. And we want to change that. And we want to provide resources for them so that we can make a difference today, now, not, it's coming, not, we wait 2 weeks, not a week, not 24 hours. We want it now. We want to be able to, yeah.
Less talk, more action.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you have a couple more minutes? And I have another video I wanted to play too. It's
Sure.
from 22 Mile Ruck for Veteran Suicide Awareness, since
Yes.
we're bringing that subject up. I'm going to play it right now. And we've got another question from one of our viewers. So we're going to play the video. And again, I want to say thank you for sending me these links to these videos. And let me know, Belle-Lyssa, if you can hear the audio okay.
Well, it was a little chilly today, but that didn't stop a local firefighter and veterans from walking 22 miles for other vets. The U.S. Veterans Hall of Fame walk began at Concord Mills Mall and went to South Park today. Members of the Charlotte Fire Department supported fellow firefighter Drew Rux, who's also a veteran. The event raises awareness and money for vets dealing with mental health issues. The organization says the 22 miles represents 22 veterans it estimates die by suicide every day.
The fact that it went up, we want to raise a constant awareness. And an event like this, we can actually bring that number down, I believe, if we got other cities across America to do this.
Well, next, the event heads to Atlanta. Channel 9 is committed to addressing the mental health challenges that our community faces. We created a county-by-county guide for mental health resources in our area. You can find that under the community tab of our news app.
Thoughts on this video?
Well, you can tell I get emotional because I know their heart. I know they're doing the work and making a difference to save a life. I just think there's so many opportunities to do that. And imagine doing that all over the country. Imagine some of our listeners listening and say, hey, I want to do that. Hey, I know somebody. Hey, you know what? We've got this. We've got that. Contact this company. Contact that company. I know there's money over there. That's what we need, because it's better together. We cannot do it alone, but together we can do it. And I cannot impress that enough. We don't always know how. We didn't know how the golf tournament was going to go. I'm sure that when the founders got together, and Curtis Drafton is one of the founders, he is the founder, got together with this idea. He didn't know how it's going to happen. We see the vision. We know these buildings are going to come up. We know. And so we're just excited and grateful for the opportunity, and we can see it happening and saving the lives and giving people an opportunity to help also gives purpose, because there may be some people listening and maybe they're not able to do the walks. Maybe they're not able to, maybe they don't know how to talk to veterans. Maybe they don't know what to do. But there are professionals that do. There are people that do know how to get the resources to them. We have amazing things. There's a program called Abundabox, which is a company that we've partnered with. And it's on the website, I believe. And they go out and they have a box full of all kinds of things for veterans that they can get on this list. And they're going to get sent this amazing box of all these, great things that they can use. And discounts to mental health services, access to mental health services, quick access, in some cases, immediate crisis access to a real person, to be able to connect with in the middle of a crisis, and to get them in for an appointment if need be, and to help with the homelessness, to actually help with fundings. Like, hey, we've got a place for you. We've got housing. We've got this. We've got these resources. You need a car repair? Hey, here's $500 to get your car repaired so you can get to work. You need counseling for career counseling. You need job placement. Maybe you need technical skills, or, whatever it is. And there's also a program out there that actually has discounts for veterinary care and we're working on more and more and more. And as I mentioned, part of the vision is that hopefully by this fall, we will be offering more of an opportunity for other veteran service organizations to collaborate in some way, because we can't do it all by ourselves. But imagine the power of togetherness with a united vision and a mission and a purpose. What can be done?
Wanted to ask you this too before we wrap up the show.
You had a question real quick. Someone had a question.
Yeah, actually, it was kind of one of those bots, one of those X bots.
Oh,
yes,
unfortunately.
Unfortunately, one of them. So, unfortunately, but I wanted to ask you this anyways. For those people that are watching this live stream or on audio or listening later on WQE 99.1 FM, if there's somebody out there that wants to volunteer their time, how would they approach this? If they want to do some volunteering for the golf tournament or at this Hall of Fame class of 2024 as well.
Yeah. That's a great question. Go to the website and the contact information is there, or reach out to me and I'll have someone reach back out to them. And I can be found all over social media, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and also, through, YouTube, through your podcast as well.
Absolutely. And before you wrap this up, do you have any other final thoughts about this subject? And I wanted to ask you this. I'm not sure you'll have the answer for me, but for the class of 2024, the class that was in, I believe there was 8 men and women. Do you know how that process works to getting people elected into the U.S. Veterans Hall of Fame?
Since I'm fairly new to the board, I wasn't part of that process. I do know that there's an application process to where there are numbers submitted, and I know that there are a great number of veterans that are submitted for their service. Of course, there has to be a selection process. I'm not exactly certain of that, how it happens. I know the board members and the founders and maybe some other sponsors or some other people in the community have a say in that. I'm not exactly sure. I do know that information is on the website because I did see it. It's just that I'm fairly new. I've been involved since the spring of this past year, and I haven't been involved in that process of how they get elected and chosen to be inducted. I know that it's quite a selective process. I know that it's an honor, and I know that it is just an incredible once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for veterans to be honored in that way.
Besides the golf event, which is, I believe, November 28th.
Or October 28th, yeah.
Okay, October 28th, sorry. October 28th. And the class of 2024 ceremony is, I believe, in November. I'm trying to remember what day in November again.
November 16th.
November 16th. Are there any other upcoming events before then or after?
I'm certain that there will be. I know that there are opportunities for people to donate now. So they can go to the website and donate now, and all those proceeds will benefit things. I'm certain that they are working on other golf tournaments and constantly coming up with ways. And we are very open. If someone has an idea on how to raise some funds and do that, let's talk, because there may be something out there that we haven't had the opportunity or the idea of, and maybe there's a way that we can collaborate and have a sponsored program like the NFL was so gracious to say, yeah, we'll do it. And so the players and the coaches are going to sponsor the golf tournament, and there may be other opportunities for us out there as well.
Okay. And again, can you just mention how somebody can contact you if they're watching this live stream or on audio or in WQEE 99.1 FM? What's the best way of contacting you directly?
Oh, me directly? Belle-Lyssa, my name, Belle-Lyssa. If you Google me, I will show up, and Facebook. And you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on TikTok. And I do a lot of videos I do a lot of training videos. I try to offer always valuable content everywhere I go, so that I give people an opportunity to learn how to think about what they want, not what they don't want, and think about more positivity and how to rewire their brains. And I'm always available. And I also give free coaching sessions. I give a few free coaching sessions to everyone to help them overcome overthinking. And if anyone is interested in that, I provide that. And I do that because I want to make sure it's a good fit. And you don't know me, I don't know you. And so I want to give people an opportunity to get to know me. And I want to give you something of value. And you can say, hey, this really works. She knows what she's talking about. It's not just what everyone else is saying. And I have hundreds of testimonials. It's 20 years, over 20 years of my life's work. I want people to experience a benefit of what I'm doing so that they can experience the success. Because once you have a win, like, this works. This works. I got this. I can do more. I can do more. And I have a very strengths-based approach. So I focus on the strengths and building that, and love what I do. I've actually been doing some outcome studies recently with clients going back over 20 years, and they're still maintaining and doing great. I pride myself of being the coach that teaches you how to coach yourself as quickly as I possibly can. I'd love to stay in touch with you for the rest of your life, but I really want to teach you how to be your own best friend. I really want to teach you how to coach yourself so that you don't need me anymore. I want to teach you how to bring yourself up no matter where you are, so that you can count on you. Because when you can count on you, you've got it forever.
Well said. And finally, where can my audience follow the U.S. Veterans Hall of Fame on social media and the website? We brought up the website before, but is the U.S. Veterans Hall of Fame on other social platforms as well?
You can find them on YouTube. There's a lot of videos. The videos also, all those YouTube videos are also on the U.S. Vets Hall of Fame. But if you just Google U.S. Vets Hall of Fame, you'll see a lot of information out there and a lot of video clips. And a lot of things that they're doing, which I didn't mention here. And so there's other things that the organization does as well for the community, and you can find those there as well.
Well, Belle-Lyssa, I want to say thank you so much for giving us almost an hour of your time tonight to talk to us about the U.S. Veterans Hall of Fame and how you got involved in it and some of their programs and upcoming events as well.
Thank you. And thank you to all your audience. Thank you to the people who tuned in live. Thank you to the people who are going to watch it later. Thank you to the people who are going to mention this to someone else. Thank you for giving your time, your heart, your energy, your interest. We need you. We appreciate you, and we're making a difference. So thank you.
And the website again, before we wrap this up, USVetsHallOfFame.org. And it's on the graphic below as well. And Belle-Lyssa, I just again want to say thank you for coming on here. I was glad to help out, and I would be glad to have somebody else from the U.S. Veterans Hall of Fame on my show one day as well. And I'd like to get somebody on from the Canadian side as well, because I think they need to get a little more attention, and I'm happy to use my show as a platform as well. Thank you so much, Belle-Lyssa. And give me a little bit of time tonight, and I'll send you the video copy, the audio, and I'll make some reels and clips as well. And continued success in your career as a mental fitness coach, and also being a member of the board for the U.S. the USA Veterans Hall of Fame as well.
Thank you. And on behalf of the board and the U.S. Veterans Hall of Fame, I thank you for giving your time. Thank you.
Okay. Well, you have a good night, and we'll be in touch. And thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye, Belle-Lyssa. Thank you. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed Season 8, Episode 28 tonight with Belle-Lyssa Crawford, a board member with the U.S. Vets Hall of Fame as well. Before we wrap up this show, guys, the next Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, sponsored by BarryCullen.com and on WQEE 99.1 FM, Monday, July 15th at 7 p.m. Eastern with my special guest, Pat Bernard, a reporter with the Edge of Philly Sports. And Pat and I are going to talk about the 2024 Philadelphia Phillies, if this team is a World Series contender and can win it all. And we're going to talk about the 2024 Philadelphia Eagles, who are trying to get back to the Super Bowl after last year's meltdown after starting the season 10-1. So looking forward to having my friend Pat Bernard on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Before we wrap this show up, guys, as always, as most of you know, I do volunteer work with the Cambridge and District Humane Society at 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, Ontario, 519-623-7722, or you can visit their website at cambridgehumanesociety.org. Right now, a lot of the shelters here in Ontario are full up with cats and dogs and rabbits and pets, and there's been a lot of strays. So if you're looking for your forever furry friend, please come down to the Cambridge and District Humane Society at 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, or visit their website at cambridgehumanesociety.org. All the animals' profiles are on their website, and they're also doing a 50-50 monthly draw, and you can get the tickets again at 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge or cambridgehumanesociety.org. And as always, you can't buy happiness, but you can adopt. So please check out the Cambridge and District Humane Society. Our furry friends, there's a lot of them down there that are looking for forever homes and families as well. As always, Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show is hosted by yours truly, Chris Pame, is on weeknights from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern on radio station WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key, the home of Southern sports and talk, the heartbeat of Atlanta. Our radio station's website is wqeefm.radio12345.com. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show is live streamed on these platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter /X, I call it Twitch, LinkedIn, and now available on Instagram. And also, guys, remember, I am on Cameo.com. I'm part of the Cameo family. If you like a personalized video from yours truly, CDP, and want birthday wishes, pep talk, or want to talk to me about sports or my radio work, please book a video with me, Chris Pame, on Cameo.com. And all the proceeds from my Cameo videos will go to my radio and media work as well. You can also check out my website at beacons.ai/Chris D. Pame. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, again, is new and pre-owned GM vehicles, or give them a call at 519-824-0210, or email them at info@barrycollin.com. I want to give the dealership a shout out today. I had a small electrical issue with my vehicle and it corrected itself, but I want to say thank you to Greg, Matt, and Brooke. Greg, Matt, and Brooke in the service departments. Great customer service. And Barry Cullen Chevrolet dealership is family run, family owned and operated in Guelph since 1969. And I've been a customer of Barry Cullen Chevrolet since 2020, the year 2000. I got mixed up there, the year 2000. And speaking of Barry Cullen Chevrolet right now, they have a summer upgrade event at Barry Cullen Chevrolet dealership. The new 2024 Trailblazer, 5.49% financing for up to 72 months. More details at barrycullen.com. Live with CDP merchandise coming in August. More details to follow. You can also follow me on TikTok. Yes, I'm a content creator at Live with CDP. I want to say thank you to my 2,290 followers on TikTok. StreamYard is the official live stream provider of Live with CDP Sports Talk. If you're into webinars or podcasting, check out StreamYard.com. And if you're a business that does webinars or a lot of live streams, check out StreamYard.com and contact the sales department as well. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Podcast. The audio version is available on these platforms: iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify for podcasters, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Pandora, Tuned In, and on YouTube Music. And make sure when you look me up on YouTube Music, Live with CDP Sports Talk, and hit that follow notification. And I want to thank you to all my subscribers on YouTube and all the people who have viewed all my videos. I really appreciate your support. And if you haven't watched or seen my YouTube channel yet, type in Chris Palme Live with CDP Talk Show and hit that subscribe notification and like video. I have over 1,500 videos and counting on there as well. Also, you can finally email or text Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show at cpalme19@gmail.com, or you can text the show at 519-820-7188. Any comments, questions, suggestions, feedback, positive or negative, please feel free to contact the show. And you guys can also follow me on these platforms: Facebook, Twitter/X, Instagram, my YouTube channel, LinkedIn, and also Threads. I'm on all social media platforms except for Snapchat. And that's about it, guys. And I want to say this: my co-host Nick Small and myself, the co-host of the Argo Bounce Live Audio Show, both Nick and I predicted the Argos to lose to Montreal last night. And Nick and I were both wrong, and I would be wrong. The Argonauts defeated the Alouettes 37 to 18. So the Argos are now 3-2, heading to Hamilton next Saturday night, July 20th, for a 7:00 kickoff with the Cats. Montreal loses its first game since week 15 last year of the 2023 CFL season. So the Argonauts have beaten them the last 2 times. The Argonauts played well defensively in the second half. They held Montreal to 3 points and 18 in total. So the next Argo Bounce Live Audio Show with Nick Small and myself will be next week. Date and time to be determined as well. So that's about it. And before we wrap this show up again, guys, I want to say thank you to everyone watching this live streamed on audio platforms and listening to this on WQEE 99.1 FM. Thank you again to my guest tonight, Belle-Lyssa Crawford, board member with the U.S. Veterans Hall of Fame Committee as well. That's about it. I hope everybody has a great night. Enjoy the Major League Baseball action this weekend, the CFL games, and we'll see you back here this Monday night. I believe July 15th at 7 p.m. Eastern with Pat Bernard from the Edge of Philly Sports. And we're going to talk Philadelphia Phillies and Philadelphia Eagles. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching and listening to Live with CDP Sports Talk, sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership and on radio station WQEE 99.1 FM. And again, thank you to my guest, Belle-Lyssa Crawford, for coming on here tonight.